actually call it the power of the micropause. These practices, they can work within your life as it is. What this is really doing is it's starting to rewire the brain.
This is the kind of thing that I think a lot of people can take advantage of and do. I think we all need it. I really do. Welcome to my podcast, Over 40 and Fabulous, the show that helps you live your best life no matter your age. I'm Robin Thomas, lifestyle and wellness expert and a community leader in holistic health. I'm the founder of Living Well Connections, healthy living community that supports, educates, empowers us all to make healthy decisions toward a more balanced and fulfilling life. Today's guest is Allison Baldwin. When Allison was a teenager, she experienced difficulty staying awake during the day. She received a diagnosis of narcolepsy in 2017. Recently, Allison has learned how to do less and rest. To her surprise, the narcolepsy symptoms have melted away. Now she shares with others the importance of rest in order to cultivate an environment where healing can begin. Well, hey, Allison, I'm so happy to have you here.
Yes, good morning, Robin. I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this conversation. I think that sometimes we just hustle. And sometimes we get taught to as business or as entrepreneurs or in, if you're a professional job or anything, or even just, around the house. It's like, hurry up, you got to do this, and do this. And you're going to help us relax a little bit and consider maybe a different way of living our life.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, so tell me a little teeny bit about how you came to this, because I know that, a lot of us are going through the transitions. Usually there's something that has made you say, hey, wait, what am I doing here?
Yes, well, for me, that was my health journey with my experience with narcolepsy. Mm-hmm. Just a quick bit on what narcolepsy is. It is, there's basically been a damage to the brain, to keep it simple, where the sleep cycles are disrupted.
Wow.
And so getting deep sleep is, doesn't really happen. And so the experience with sleep is completely different. You're missing that restful, restorative sleep. And so this
Which is so important.
Yes, absolutely. A lot happens during those stages of sleep, and it is what gives you energy for the day. And so I have a long journey with this. It started when I was a teenager. And get to the answer to your question, for a long time, 10 years, I just pushed through. And at a certain point, I put things together. I realized that this is what was happening. There are many symptoms to narcolepsy. I was experiencing all of them. And I just told myself, I was like, well, sleep is optional, and I'm just a little bit more tired than everybody else. And carried on with my life, as, with my job and with the exercise I was doing and all the things, the doing.
All the doing. And you were young. So it's like, yeah, I can understand that feeling of, I'll just push through. Push through. And you don't really realize if that's been your life for, months and years, how much you're missing when you're missing restful sleep.
Yes, absolutely. That was a big factor, both like misunderstanding, like just lacking the knowledge of the importance of restful sleep, but then also my baseline had dropped so low. I just really had no idea how far off the mark I was from feeling energized during the day. And so for me, this in my late 20s, it just I just hit a wall, and I just couldn't keep up with what I was doing. And it really started to kind of all come down on me. I started to really I think I was in denial, and I started to open my eyes to the impact it was having on my life. So that's sort of part one of an answer to your question. And then the other is that during that time, right before I started to learn about mindfulness, I started to learn about the concept of the present moment, which was powerful shift, and this idea that our mind is often, the monkey mind might be a term that people have heard of, is often in the future or in the past, and that there was another option. And that just made so much sense to me. And though I had yet to really change my mind or my brain, I could see how I was really, so much of my doing was thinking. So that's where
and that awareness, I mean, getting awareness to exactly what's going on.
Yes. Oh, yes.
It's so important for the healing process.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
You have to kind of know where you are now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who they know they're not getting the best sleep, but they're not really understanding it and how important it is.
Well, I think it gets sort of, it's just it's a low priority. I think we're doing during the day is often gets prioritized, whether that's within our control, and sometimes it's maybe not within our control because we play many roles, right? So
did it have anything to do also with becoming pregnant and the birth of your twins?
So I would say that was definitely a significant event in my life, and I do think
a significant event, and
and it was more, so for me, it took several pushes from life, from God, from the universe, to go in this new direction of doing less.
Oh, okay.
And what I think I've described, that was like the first wall, but then yes, as I continued on, and then I become a mother of twins. But I guess I'll back up that for me, I just hit a point in my health where, again, we're continuing with the hustle. It wasn't an option. And that's like a real gift for me in my journey with narcolepsy. I don't know if I would have changed, or, I probably would just be doing the same thing. But I just reached a point again where I just had to do things a little bit differently. But in that, I feel like I've discovered this whole new way of living.
Well, good. Yes. And so help us discover this whole new way of living and looking at, how can we, because you're right. If you hadn't had some of the severity sleep issues, you would have just said, that's just the way it is. Okay, I'm busy. I'm an athlete. I'm working out. I'm also have a business. And then of course, all young moms are tired.
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, that's part of it, but it becomes a perennial problem, and it becomes you stay in that. We were talking a little bit earlier about fight or flight. Tell me how this relates to fight or flight. The people talk about there's the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nervous system.
Yes.
And this leads into a lot of what you're able to help people with and help yourself with.
Yes. Well, that's a great point to bring up. And that's actually part of where I would begin as far as helping others to find this, what we call relaxation. I hesitate at using that word relax because, again, I think it dismissed, but I think really having awareness of what we're talking about here is it's called the parasympathetic response of your nervous system in your body. And it's a state of being, and it's when the body can rest and digest. And so many processes happen during this state of being. And then the other side is the fight or flight, which the technical term is the sympathetic system. And that is when we are in the stress response, right? And which is a whole physical response in the body. I think that was one thing or key shift for me of understanding that, like, our nervous system goes way back in human evolution of how it still operates in the same way. And so when we are stressed, which stress shows up in a lot of different ways. So we have the things that come to mind that, are obvious stressors in our life, but it also can be the hustle that you've talked about, the doing, the working, I've got to get more done. We're in the stress response. And that the way that happens in the body is that the body's kind of preparing to run there's the cortisol, the stress response, and that just kicks off a whole process of physiological chemicals in the body. And so I think that for me, understanding that we often have, sometimes we have physical stressors, right? But a lot of times it's psychological. So for me, understanding that, oh, my body's like responding as though there's the saber-tooth tiger in the room and I need to run, but actually like my Wi-Fi's out and I need to be on a call. That was like just a perspective shift of what's happening.
Well, and it happens, so physiologically, that stress, fight or flight part was to get you to safety.
Yes.
And to be sort of a quick thing. And then, and unfortunately, when you're hustling and things always go wrong, technology, something always happens, then it almost seems never ending.
Yes.
And that chronic and that cortisol effect and that, oh gosh, it just leads a path down to a lot of different illnesses that we're not going to go into it now, but still, it's learning how to switch that fight or flight off, and to really accept that more of the restful, the calming, rest and relax, or what is it called? Digest and rest. Yes.
Digest. Yeah. Yeah. And that is a process. I think that's something else that's really important to understand, is that, what we're talking about is in the body, in the nervous system, in the programming of the brain. Most of us have been experiencing these patterns our entire lives. So it is, I think, a journey. But one thing that I would really like for listeners to take away is that it can be something that you can begin to implement slowly and in tiny little bits in your day as it is already.
I love that because I'm always talking about, don't get overwhelmed with the changes in your own life. Go step by step, make it a habit, make the small steps a habit. And then you don't think about it. You just do this, whatever it is in the day. And this goes with any kind of habit you want to have, taking it step by step, like you're saying. So how do you take someone step by step?
Well, I actually have a practice that I would love to share. Would now be a good time to do that?
Sure.
Yes. Okay. So again, I am a big proponent of bringing these practices within your daily life as it is. And that's what this practice is designed to do. I do have a PDF that's will be available for listeners to download after the podcast. And I have on the PDF, I have it set up in a structure to help build that habit of what you're talking about, like a daily practice. I'm going to walk through it a little bit differently since we're right in the middle of a podcast here. But I really suggest like tying this to a task that you're already doing during the day. So it could be like brushing your teeth or washing the dishes, ideally something that you're doing in the part of the day where things have settled a little bit, maybe at the end of the day, the kids are in bed. Again, we're doing the mundane daily tasks.
So this could be good either like for the early morning routine or maybe before bed.
Yes.
I would think it would be great for before bed. Yes,
that's I think what is easiest for me. For me, morning is like right now. My daughter knocks on my door and comes in, and
you're in a different place you're in a different place of your life than I am. So you've got kids that get up early and go. I've got a son who sleeps in unless he's going to work. If I have to jump up and take him to work, that's one thing. But if he's not going to work, he sleeps in. So that's my quiet time. It's just a different stage of life.
Yes, exactly. Yes. So wherever that time of day for you is, where things have settled a bit. And again, going back to those daily tasks that you're already doing. For purposes of the podcast here, I'm going to use this pen to demonstrate. So that's what my task is going to be right now, is I'm going to use this pen. And if you have something, Robin, in front of you that you can pick up.
I have a pen.
Okay, yes, absolutely. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to look at the pen. And what I like to do, again, particularly if I'm in that busy stage, is really tune into the sensations. So your touch, smell, hearing, could be vision. I really like to go with a sense of touch and then how things sound. Mm-hmm. And as much as possible, I'm going to focus my attention, and I'm actually just gonna, well, what does the pen feel like?
Right.
Like, what does this metal part feel like here? And then what does it, like, how does it feel to take the top off? Or if you have you could click the pen and what does that feel like? And so I'm kind of like listening to the sound, like what does it actually feel like? And what this does is this really brings us into the present moment. And I even like think of it as like kind of slowing time down, right? Just like even in the middle of the podcast here with you, I'm also talking, but I'm again just focusing on the sensations of the pen and what does it actually look like. Mm-hmm. And so again, you can pick one sense and kind of come into the task that you're doing, and then I like to go into a slow breath into the belly. And it might help to put your hand on your belly, and if it feels comfortable, you can close your eyes or you can leave them open. So we'll take a slow inhale in. And out. And one more breath in and out. And if it feels comfortable, you can imagine, so what does peace or ease feel like? And just bringing that into your body. We'll just do one more breath, breathing peace or ease into your body. And again, if you don't know what that feels like, just imagine what it might feel like. And then opening your eyes. And from here, I like to go into gratitude. But the way I like to do it is I like to pick the small things around me. So using this pen as an example, I really love the way that this pen writes. It's probably one of my favorite pens. And so thinking about an appreciation for that, it could also be, this morning I was doing this practice and I was washing dishes and I had rubber gloves on, which I do in the winter because the water will, and I just was like, I love these gloves. It could be anything. And I try to do 3 to 5 things and then really leaning into that feeling of appreciation. And that to me,
what you're doing is it's kind of like the habits. You're putting one on top of another, layers of things that I have heard as separate.
Yes.
And you're layering it to one thing. And actually, this is my very favorite pen too. It writes beautifully, and I love the way it feels to the end. So this was an easy one for me because I do adore this pen as much as you can love a writing instrument.
But it does.
What I like is that okay, we all know gratitude is good for us.
Yeah.
But I don't always find myself writing the gratitude. I tell myself I'm going to write a list of 3 things, and that's good. If somebody wants to do that, that's great because you're actually writing by hand the gratitude that connects it. But this is so simple to I could see myself picking this up, what you have, much more easily than trying to, I need to go find my journal, gratitude journal, or I need to do this. Don't need to do anything. We just need to be us.
Yes.
And I can't imagine us without, there's some object around us. There's going to be something around us. And I've also heard use the 5 senses. And you were using some of them, yeah?
Yes. I tend to lean towards the sound and the tactile touching. For me, that is very, I think smell can certainly be something if I don't know that would work so well for my pen because it doesn't. But yes, if you're drinking a cup. I would say for myself, sight, so vision, I usually do that with walking. But I find that I think it's such a primary sense for me all the time that I usually don't go to that one for, again, centering myself into the present moment. I think I'm so used to seeing everything and all my thoughts running. It's these other sense, really thinking about, well, what sense do you neglect, or what do you, it's kind of in the background, maybe is the way. And that's
Right.
what I feel like can help bring us into the present, because we usually don't pick up a pen and say, oh, well, what does this feel like? Or what does it sound like? Right.
Right. You don't know. The sound, what I love about the fact that I work from home at my own pace is that I can wait, and I don't have anyone except unless my son has to go to work, but I wake up with dawn anyway. So I'm always awake way before he needs to get up and go. The birds singing.
Oh, yes. Oh, that's
the birds singing in the morning. It's not quite so much now in the winter, but they still do sing. But in the spring and the fall when the migratory birds are coming through and singing, and that's just sparks joy for me.
Yes.
And it can be, and I will sit there and lie in bed. Of course, I'm waking up at dawn anyway. As soon as the sun comes up, my body wakes up. But I lay in bed and listen to the birds for a while. And I think I could add some of these others to that habit.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Well, I love how you brought up the point of how this layers these different practices on top of each other, and the point about the writing the gratitude, which because I've had that same experience of that's often how, and again, if it works for somebody, that's great. But yeah, it's something that I have done for I can keep it going for a few weeks, but and again, it probably goes back to my lifestyle right now. I'm just not seated in a place with a journal. And that's, I would say another point I really want people to take away is that these practices, they can work within your life as it is. If it works to become a separate practice, which I definitely do have those things in my life that I do while my kids are in school, that's wonderful. But we have to watch out for that becoming something more to do, right? It can become another task on the to-do list. And when we're already overwhelmed, it just, we're sort of feeling the fire.
You need to rest today. You need to do. You need to do this. You need to focus. Yeah. No, I get it. It is this flows easily with your life. You can be washing dishes and doing this.
Yes.
You can be cooking.
Yeah.
And doing this.
Yes.
I mean, that one I enjoy too. I enjoy cooking sometimes.
And I will share just one more, because probably the most challenging part of this is remembering to do it, or just that. And so I want to bring that up, that is okay. Like if you set the intention to implement and you forget for a week, that what this is really doing is it's starting to rewire the brain, and that is something that takes time. But the way I have it laid out in the PDF, this is a tip that I'm taking from one of Louise Hay's books, is if you pick your task, we'll say washing the dishes, and you can take a piece of masking tape and write a symbol on it and stick that on the sink, stick it where you will see it, and use that symbol as your reminder to do it. That can be really effective. And I love this. I love the masking tape because another thing I think we want to get away from the screens and the phones, and so I love that it's a non-technical
a non-technical
way to remind yourself. So
yeah, that's great. It's great. Yeah, just let it flow. Let it flow in with what you're doing. This is the kind of thing that I think a lot of people can take advantage of and do. I think we all need it. I really do.
yes,
I think we all need it.
yes, and it can be such a welcome pause. I actually call it the power of the micropause. That's what my
oh yeah,
the micropause. It just, I think, and as you practice it and it becomes more familiar, it is a welcome, I think, break from that busy hustle, and it introduces is that new way of being,
Mhm.
so that you start to become familiar. And it is something that you can expand on. You can, if you desire to.
Or you can. There's a number of things out there that we can learn, or I'm sure, and you have more things, I'm sure. This is an introduction.
Yes.
Basically.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I do recommend people reach out to Allison and find out more about what she's all about and how, just the things that you've done. You do Reiki too. Is this something you've added to your repertoire?
Yes. Yes. I am a Reiki master, and I have also done life coaching. I'm in the process of formulating and discovering like a one-to-one coaching where I hope to help others make this transition, in which I have made, but I'm still in discovery on exactly how that will look. Yeah.
Well, that's always good to know. We'll watch out for you.
Yes.
Well, do you have any final thoughts?
I think my final thought, again, would just to reiterate, if you're feeling overwhelmed, or that if you've heard about these mindfulness practices, but it just feels out of reach, to just reiterate again that it can be part of your day as it is now. And also that is an extremely powerful way to begin to transform and to shift the body. It is no less important than having a standalone meditation practice, right? I would say, if anything, it's more effective, because you're really, again, you're disrupting your automatic thoughts and your automatic. So that would just be my main takeaway for others.
No, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. What is the very best, if someone wants to reach out to you, how would you like them to do so? And I'll put that information in the show notes. Yes,
well, I do have a new website, and so it is 𝐂𝐴lchemyofSomna.com. And I will have a new email, which will be live by the time this is, so somebody can reach there at Allison@𝐂𝐴lchemyofSomna.com.
Okay, I'll be sure to, when I publish this, I'll put it in the notes, let people know.
Okay, sure.
Well, thank you so much.
Yes, thank you, Robin.
Thank you so much for joining me at my Over 40 and Fabulous podcast. If this podcast has been helpful for you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this episode with those in your life who need to hear this empowering message. And don't forget to download my free gift, 5 Ways to Get Started with Healthy Habits Without Getting Overwhelmed. This free guide leads you through 5 small steps that will allow you to ease into healthy habits until they become a natural part of your life. It's wonderful if you're just not quite sure how to get started. To get this helpful guide, go to robinthomas.biz/community support, and I will put it in the show notes too. Drop in your email and it will arrive straight to your inbox. Bye for now, and I'll see you in the next episode.